Now, broadcasting from behind enemy lines, deep in the trenches of the Patriot resistance, leading the charge in the battle for liberty. This is the Jayson Veley Program.
Hello, folks. Jayson Veley here. You're listening to the Jayson Veley Program. I want to thank you very much for listening. The email address, if you want to get in touch with me, the Jayson Veley Program at gmail.com, the Jayson Veley Program at gmail.com. We also have a number you can call if you want to leave us a voicemail message. 860-266-2852 is the number, 860-266-2852. You know, folks, I am, at this point, completely convinced that Joe Biden has absolutely no clue how to handle the crisis at the southern border. He's talking like he has a handle on it. He's, because he has to, right? He's the president of the United States. He's talking like he has a handle on it, like he knows what he's doing, like he's going to have everything under control. They tried to throw out the excuse that, look, we're just trying to fix a broken system that we inherited from Donald Trump. Every excuse in the book. The fact of the matter is, and I truly believe this in my heart of hearts, that Joe Biden doesn't know what the hell to do. I don't think he knows how to handle this. I really don't. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, he passed it off to Kamala Harris, basically said, here, you handle this. And since then, I've read now that even Kamala Harris is trying to take a pass on it. And say that, look, she's going to be mostly focusing on finding out why migrants are leaving their home countries as opposed to dealing with the crisis at the southern border. So who's owning this exactly? If Joe Biden passed it off to Kamala Harris makes it clear that, look, she's just looking into their home countries and doing her own little side project. Who the hell is handling the crisis at the southern border? And by the way, have they called it a crisis yet? I haven't heard them. I haven't heard any of them. So Joe Biden, he gets into office. First thing he does is he starts gutting Donald Trump's immigration policy, which, by the way, worked. I know liberals don't like to hear this, but it worked. It was absolutely working because we made it clear to our neighbors to the south that there will be no entry unless you come here legally. We made it clear that we were going to secure the borders. We made it clear that we are ending catch and release, the remain in Mexico policies, and so on and so forth. Trump's policies worked. Statistically, they worked. Trump kept illegal border crossings below 1,000 a day. Or, I'm sorry, I believe it was a month, not a day. A month. Now under Joe Biden, it's up over 6,000. I mean, it has increased exponentially since February, just a few weeks after Biden took office. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they're coming up to the southern border with shirts that say, Biden, please let us in, waving Joe Biden flags? Because he is the migrant president. That's not my phrase, by the way. You know who said that? The president of Mexico. Yeah, on record as saying that the migrants coming up, trying to get into our country, see Joe Biden as, quote, the migrant president. So Joe Biden is 100% to blame here. But we've already discussed that. He is to blame for this chaos. And on the contrary, when Donald Trump was in office, things were pretty good with regards to the border. But Biden gets in and guts Trump's immigration policy, completely eviscerates it. Then we have this emerging border crisis. He tries passing it off to Kamala Harris. Kamala says, I don't know what to do, really. I'm going to focus on this instead. Joe Biden's still out there like a bumbling idiot, deflecting, not really sure what to do. Meanwhile, Detention facilities are at like 600, 700% capacity. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. He doesn't know what to do, folks. He may talk like he knows what to do. He may talk to like reporters and the media and so on and so forth like he's got this all under control. He doesn't. I'm telling you. He doesn't. He doesn't. And now we hear that he's considering patching some holes in the border wall, completing it, or at least resuming construction on the border wall. Gee, how about that, huh? How about that, by the way? After he pauses it, now he says, after this emergent crisis at the border, he comes out and says, yeah, you know what? It might be a good idea to patch up some of the holes along the southern border. What a concept. I'd also like to point out here that for 4 years when Trump was in office, Democrats eviscerated the man, smeared him, trashed him, because he had the radical idea of building a physical barrier on the southern border, right? So now that Joe Biden reportedly wants to resume construction, plug up the holes, is he a racist? Is he a bigot? Is he a xenophobe? Are the liberals criticizing him? No, because he's a Democrat and he knows what's best. You see the hypocrisy? It's nothing new. Honestly, it's just the nature of the media these days, but I thought I'd point it out. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on. I'm convinced that Joe Biden has no clue what he's doing. And then I see this. An article posted to the westernjournal.com, which, by the way, is a phenomenal website. I've been visiting it more and more lately when doing show prep. And they do a great job over there at the Western Journal. Here's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. There was a press release that was going to be published by the DHS regarding 2 suspected terrorists that were arrested at the border. Okay? I believe we talked about this a couple weeks back. 2 terrorists stopped at the southern border, and they were arrested. Okay? DHS had a press release all ready to go about it. But before it could publish it, mysteriously vanished. That is to say, they deleted it. They didn't want to go public with it. They were withholding information. The Biden administration was withholding information about these arrested terrorists at the southern border. Now, luckily, the fine folks over at the Western Journal were able to obtain this full press release. Even though the DHS deleted it, they were still able to obtain it and publish it. And I want to read it. Just, for full transparency's sakes, because God knows Joe Biden doesn't give a damn about transparency. We on this program, we're transparent, and we'll fill you in. I think this is important. Since they tried to delete this, since they tried to hide it from the American people, that to me means the American people need to hear this. So here was the press release regarding 2 terrorists that were arrested at the southern border. Again, published by the Western Journal. Listen to this. 2 men from Yemen were arrested by Border Patrol, identified on the FBI's terrorism watch list. U.S. Border Patrol agents assigned to the El Centro sector arrested 2 Yemen men within the last 2 months that were identified on a terrorism watch list. The first incident occurred on January 29th at approximately 1:10 a.m. when agents assigned to the El Centro station arrested a man for illegally entering the United States. Agents apprehended the man approximately 3 miles west of the Calexico port of entry and transported him to the El Centro Processing Center for Immigration and Criminal History Screening. Agents conducted record checks and revealed that the man, a 33-year-old illegal alien from Yemen, was on the FBI's terrorism watch list as well as the no-fly list. Additionally, agents found a cellular phone SIM card hidden underneath the insole of his shoe. Now, it doesn't go into detail on what they found on that SIM card, but I think that is extremely relevant, and I hope information comes out about that. The man was transferred to the custody of ICE. The second incident occurred on March 30th at approximately 11:30 p.m. when agents assigned to the El Centro station arrested a man for illegally entering the United States. Agents apprehended the man approximately 2 miles west of the Calexico port of entry and transported him to the El Centro Processing Center for immigration and criminal history screening. Same process as the other guy. They conducted background checks again and found that this man, 26-year-old illegal alien from Yemen, was also on the FBI's terrorism watch list and on the no-fly list. The man is being held in federal custody pending removal. Chief Patrol Agent Gregory Bovino said, quote, "Part of the Border Patrol's mission states we will protect the country from terrorists. Today, like every other day, our agents did that. These apprehensions at our border illustrates the importance of our mission and how we can never stop being vigilant in our everyday mission to protect this great country." And it says, visit www.cbp.gov to view additional news, blah, 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 blah. So that's the press release that was deleted by DHS. I don't know about you guys. I find this very interesting and concerning. Very interesting and concerning. Now, I remember Joe Biden on numerous occasions has talked all about transparency, right? Isn't Joe Biden, big on transparency? Big on letting the American people know what's going on? I mean, he's only mentioned that like 4 or 5 times in the past couple of weeks. Being transparent. We will continue to be transparent. Really? Then why did your DHS delete this? Why did you try to hide this? Thank God we have websites like Western Journal who were able to capture it before it was gone so that the American people could see it. Now, Jen Psaki was asked about this lately. In particular, she was asked about how Joe Biden feels about the fact that 2 terrorists were apprehended at the southern border. And she really didn't give any answer. Take a listen.
The FBI keeps a watch list with information about people who are known or reasonably suspected of being involved in terror activities. 2 people on it from Yemen have been apprehended at the border. How concerned is President Biden about terrorists possibly trying to take advantage of gaps in the border to get in and kill Americans?
Okay, now that was a question, right? I just want this on the record. That was a question. How concerned is Biden about terrorists potentially getting into the United States? Me? I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned because it's not the first time that it's happened. It's not the last time it will happen. And if you don't think terrorists out there, like the 2 men, illegal aliens from Yemen, know that there's a crisis at the southern border right now, and if you think they won't exploit that crisis to get into the U.S. and potentially cause harm to to Americans, I don't know. You better rethink things. Anyway, keep listening. This is how Psaki responds.
Well, first let me convey that these type of incidents are very uncommon, and CBP and DHS can speak more to the timeline and the specifics, of course. And
DHS can speak more to the timelines and specifics. Really? Well, the DHS deleted the damn report. The DHS deleted the press release, folks. So she's referring this journalist to the DHS, who then went on to delete the press release. So they're hiding information. They obviously don't want this getting out to the American people. Now, am I sitting here starting a conspiracy theory saying that something bigger is going on, that something, there's a scandal in the works? Not necessarily. But I think that the American people deserve transparency, especially when it comes to national security. That's all I'm saying. And we're clearly not getting it. In fact, there was an effort to do just the opposite. To hide data, to hide information. Keep listening.
In these particular cases and encounters, but encounters of known and suspected terrorists are very uncommon. They do underscore the importance of the critical work that is done on a daily basis to vet those at the border. DHS works not just at the border, as you know, but also with international partners to share intelligence and other information, including to prevent individuals on certain watch lists from entering the United States. They adjudicate individuals encountered at and between ports of entry against several classified and unclassified databases. So while this is rare, this is a reflection of them doing their jobs.
A follow-up question should have been, why did the DHS delete this? Why was this deleted? I hope a reporter comes forward and asks Jen Psaki that. What's up with this? What's going on? Why can't we get full information about it? I'd be interested in hearing that. And I'd also ask Jen Psaki, what about Joe Biden's commitment to transparency? What the hell happened to that? Then I see this. While we're talking about immigration and illegal aliens, I see this. From Breitbart. Andrew Cuomo eyes $2.1 billion taxpayer-funded benefits for illegal aliens and convicted felons, according to a report. $2.1 billion in taxpayer-funded benefits for illegal aliens and felons. That's New York for you. That's good old Andrew Cuomo. Look, I understand you got to get your radical policies in before you're probably forced to resign, as more and more women come forward and all. While more than 1 million jobs have been lost in New York and an estimated 80,000 New York businesses may not make it to the end of the Chinese coronavirus pandemic, Governor Andrew Cuomo is negotiating a plan to provide $2.1 billion worth of taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens and convicted felons. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I was a taxpayer in New York, I would be livid. Absolutely livid after hearing this. I mean, think how awful that must be. You're a hardworking individual. You earn money the right way, legally, going to work and so on and so forth. You pay taxes, and then you see that your tax money is going to illegal aliens who don't have any right to be in the country and convicted felons. Are you kidding me? Redistribution of wealth is bad enough. I hate unnecessary taxation. But when you take money from people who earned it and give it to people who don't, especially convicted felons and illegals, yeah, I have a damn problem with that. And you living in New York, you should have a problem with it too. Sources told the New York Post this week that Cuomo, along with New York State Democrats, of course it's the Democrats, is negotiating a $2.1 billion fund where at least 187,000 illegal aliens and 87,000 felons could receive taxpayer-funded unemployment benefits that mirror state and federal benefits. And it goes on. If you want to read the full report or the full article, go over to Breitbart. The headline is Andrew Cuomo eyes $2.1 billion of taxpayer-funded benefits for illegal aliens, convicted felons. There you go. So, you see, folks, the liberals have it completely wrong when it comes to... First of all, they have it completely wrong on everything, on every issue, but especially when it comes to immigration. They have it so backwards, so twisted on so many different levels. Down is up and up is down with them. It's true. They prioritize illegal aliens, put Americans in the back seat. I mean, it's unreal. It's absolutely unreal. The lengths that these politicians, Joe Biden, Cuomo, other Democrats, will go to bend over backwards for people who don't have a right to be in the country. Now trying to hide information about illegal aliens who are on the terrorist watch list. Hiding that information. Everything is twisted. Nothing makes sense, folks. Nothing is the way it should be. Damn, I miss Donald Trump, huh? I sure do miss him. I'll be right back.
This is the Jayson Veley Program.
Conservatives. How many times have you been called a racist by someone on the left? What about sexist, bigoted, homophobic, xenophobic, right-wing radical extremist? These are all buzzwords that liberals use as a means of labeling conservatives as something that they're not. And let me tell you something, I, like most of you, am getting pretty damn sick of it. That's why I started my own conservative comedy series, Living with a Liberal. Hosted on the popular video sharing app TikTok, Living with a Liberal features two fictional characters, played by yours truly, whose political differences could not be more obvious. It's a comedic take on the modern-day liberal Democrat, because if they can brand us as racists and bigots, we can brand them as triggered, oversensitive snowflakes. Check out Living with a Liberal today on TikTok. Just search Jayson Veley and you'll be taken right to my homepage. I have over 100 episodes on there, so you won't be short on content anytime soon. Enjoy. Are you a pissed off liberal that wants to give me a piece of your mind? Or maybe you're a conservative that simply has a question or comment? Either way, you should know that there's a few different ways you can reach me. Feel free to send me an email at thejaysonveleyprogram@gmail.com. Or if you prefer, you can also call the show number and leave me a voicemail. 860-266-2852. Be sure to provide your name and where you're writing or calling from. Thanks a lot. I look forward to hearing from you. All right, welcome back to the show. I want to get into some COVID-related news in just a minute here. But first, I have to address something. Whenever I see, or hear rather, audio of two liberal nitwits bashing Republicans, smearing conservatives, I have to, stop the show, take a left turn, and address it. So here we are. Hollywood screenwriter Aaron Sorkin has a little podcast, and on that podcast recently, he interviewed Michael Morfood. Yes, Michael Morfood. I call him that for obvious reasons. You guys ever see Star Wars? You know who Jabba the Hutt is? Well, there you go. Anyway, it was a conversation between this liberal screenwriter, Aaron Sorkin, and Michael Moore. And they were talking about a screenplay that Aaron Sorkin just directed, I believe, To Kill a Mockingbird. I think it was on Broadway recently. And they were having a discussion about To Kill a Mockingbird and the plot and all the rest. And the conversation quickly went into racist conservatives, racist Trump supporters. We have the audio, and if I need to, I'll stop it and provide context. But here's cut one, the conversation between liberal screenwriter Aaron Sorkin and Michael Morfood.
Upon reading the novel again, it struck me that throughout the novel,
this is Sorkin.
Atticus is an apologist for...
Atticus, for those of you who don't know, is a character in To Kill a Mockingbird. They're talking about the plot here.
Racists throughout. His whole thing about you have to walk a mile in someone else's shoes. You really have to get inside someone's skin and crawl around before you can really understand them. That was a way of excusing Bob Ewell. Well, you got to understand, he lost his WPA job, and that really brings a man down. He excuses
These
his
are all
neighbor,
plot points in the
Mrs.
book.
Henry DeBose. A terrible racist. Well, you got to understand, she just stopped taking her pain medication, her morphine, and that makes people a little crazy. He excuses the whole South. It's the South, Cal. things move slowly here. Just give it a chance. The people who make them are good people. These are my friends and neighbors. We know them. They would never act that way. And that line, these are my friends and neighbors. We know them. They would never act that way. Well, all you had to do, Mike, was look around. We were all saying the same thing about the tens of millions of people supporting Donald Trump. I don't
Give me
get
a
it.
break.
You know, we've always disagreed, all of us here in America. But I mean, we all have eyes and ears, right? We're looking at the same person. What are you talking about?
So what he's saying here, let me just summarize the idiocy for you. What he's saying here is that a character in the book To Kill a Mockingbird, Atticus, constantly makes excuses for racists in the South, for racist tendencies, because Atticus is typically a very it's been so long since I read the book or even read any summaries on it, but to my knowledge, Atticus the character is a very positive, good-hearted, good-natured character, and he does. He's very forgiving and I guess makes excuses, quote unquote, for racism in the book, for racist tendencies. That's what the screenwriter Aaron Sorkin was saying, and he compared that to conservatives and Trump supporters who are racist and people making a racist, quote unquote, not really, and people making excuses for them. So that might be kind of confusing. I hope you're all following along. Absolutely absurd. But before I respond in full, I want to play another cut for you. Here's how Michael Morfood responds. Listen.
We're being told, well, you know, the people that voted for Trump, they're good people. They're good people. They don't mean what they say.
Yes.
We need to reach across the aisle, you know, and the level, what are now called the sort of moderate Democrats who are going to try to hold up what Biden is trying to do because, well, you know, we need to understand why they feel. No, actually, I don't need to understand why they're racist. They're racist. I don't need to understand why a man treats a woman a certain way, why there is brutality. It's wrong, and it needs to be said that it's wrong.
So Michael Morfood saying that people shouldn't make excuses for racist, quote unquote, Trump supporters. We get this all the time from the left. Yeah, we're racist. We're racist. We're white nationalists. We support the KKK. They never give one iota of evidence to back this up. Not one piece of evidence. That moron Aaron Sorkin said, wait a minute, are you Republicans seeing the same president, Donald Trump, that we're seeing? Are we seeing the same person? Yeah, we're seeing the same person. I get it. You guys call him a racist. We don't. Honest to God, folks, I have never heard, not once, a legitimate piece of evidence that suggests that Donald Trump has a racist bone in his body. Have you? Liberals throw it around all the time. Donald Trump's racist. Yeah, well, guess what? Anyone can say that. Anyone can say that. They never back it up. Never. I swear to God, I've never heard it. I've heard the accusation thousands of times. Trump and his supporters, they're, white nationalists. They support the KKK. Not one piece of evidence. Not one. And so you guys, you could try to act all high and mighty, but you're really not making any sense. You're really not. You're not backing anything up. You don't know us. You don't know conservatives. You don't know Donald Trump. You don't. Now notice the tone that Michael Morfood took at the end there. The tone. In fact, you know what? Let me play that clip again of Michael Moore talking. Listen.
We're being told, well, the people that voted for Trump.
Listen to his
they're
tone.
Good people. They're good people. They don't mean what they say.
Yes.
We need to reach across the aisle, and the level, what are now called the sort of moderate Democrats who are going to try to hold up what Biden is trying to do because, well, we need to understand why they feel. No, actually, I don't need to understand why they're racist. They're racist. I don't need to understand why a man treats a woman a certain way, why there is brutality. It's wrong, and it needs to be said that it's wrong.
Millions of Americans, millions of Democrats agree with what Michael Moore just said. That Republicans are racist, that they're sexist, and that because of that, there should be no reaching across the aisles, no conversations to be had. Just go get those evil Republicans. This, folks, is why I don't put up with the left. This is why I'm not one of those Republicans who believes in talking with the left or trying to get along with them, because they don't want to get along with us. They want to defeat us. They want to defeat everything we stand for. And if we buckle, if we cave, if we move further to the left, then the liberals like Aaron Sorkin and Michael Morfood are going to run us over. We're going to lose our country if we buckle. How can you find common ground with people like this? That just think we're racist and that's it. That just think we're sexist, all of us Trump supporters, we're evil people, we're hateful people, and that's it, end of discussion. How can you talk to people like that? Someone tell me. You rhinos out there who believe in, listening to the left and talking with them, Mitt Romney's and all the rest. Lisa Murkowski and on and on and on. There's a handful of them. How do you explain this? What's your idea? If we try to talk to them, if we try to understand them, they're going to run us over. So I just thought that was interesting. These charges of racism and all the rest, Trump supporters. To attack millions of Americans like that is just it's narrow-minded. It's just horrible. It's absolutely sick, but we've seen it from the left on several different occasions. Remember Hillary Clinton's line? Oh, the deplorables. They're, what was it, a basket of deplorables or some other nonsense? We get this all the time from the left. They hate us. They cannot stand us. And so, what other choice do we have other than to fight back? All right, let me get into some COVID-related news here. We got more audio. Dr. Fauci appeared on MSNBC's The Morning Joe, which I call The Morning Joke, for obvious reasons. By the way, I was watching a video clip of this interview that I'm about to play for you in just a minute, and I was looking at Joe Scarborough. That guy has an enormous head or very small eyes. It's one of the two. Either he has a gigantic bulbous head or extremely small eyes, like little pin dots. I can't tell which one it is. Big head or very, very small eyes. I don't know. Maybe it's both. But anyway, I just thought that was very strange. I never really observed that before, but I was watching the interview earlier today. I thought to myself, good God, this guy has a big head and very, very small, beady little eyes. I think it's both. I think it is. But anyway, Dr. Fauci interviewed on The Morning Joke a couple days ago, and they talked about COVID, the ongoing pandemic. Dr. Fauci again warned that, look, we can't let up. We can't let up. We got to keep going with the masks and social distancing and all the rest. Here's cut one. Listen.
Well, the other wild card in this, Joe, is that even though everybody has COVID-19 fatigue and wants to get back to normality, you see the pictures of the Texas Rangers Stadium essentially crowded. We don't want to.
All right, let me stop right there. Notice how he how quick he is to dismiss this. yeah, I understand, COVID fatigue, everyone wants to get past this, but. Well, no, not but. That's a serious issue. We're sick of this. We do have COVID fatigue, and you're going to see, and you have been seeing, very real consequences of that in the form of depression, suicide, and so on and so forth. I read to you the numbers, I think last week. Drug use. I mean, it just goes on. Depression. Calls from people who were suicidal. All on the rise. Thanks to this pandemic. So don't just dismiss it and say, I understand we have all, COVID fatigue, but no, take some time to address that because that's a serious issue. That's a serious issue. Now, go on, Dr. Fauci. Tell us how we all need to keep this up. We got to continue.
Declare victory prematurely.
Yeah.
Because we have a virus out there now,
right.
This variant that spreads really quite efficiently. And if you pull back on masking and avoiding congregate setting, you're really taking a pretty big risk. If we can just hang in there a bit longer, because every day...
The problem, folks, is that they've been saying if we could just hold on there a bit longer. They've been saying that damn line since March of 2020. They have. Remember that? We just need to keep this up until we flatten the curve. Just a few weeks. Come on, we could do this. And then we get a little closer. And they repeat themselves. We just got to keep this up a little bit longer. Well, you know what, Dr. Fauci? I'm telling you right now that myself and millions of other Americans are getting pretty damn sick of this. And there's going to come a point where we're just not going to want to keep it up anymore. We're not. You're already seeing several states hold up the metaphorical middle finger to you and your colleagues, the experts in the field, and open back up because they believe it's what's best for their state. Texas comes to mind. So I'm just saying that there's going to be a breaking point. I think we are inches away from that point. And if you just keep saying a little bit longer, we're going to get to that breaking point. And the problem I have too is that you never offer a light at the end of the tunnel. Right? Dr. Fauci never does. He never identifies the point that we need to get to, and then we'll be good to go. There's no okay, put in the work now, here's your reward if you do this. There's none of that. It's just this ongoing, come on, little more. People are going to wake up and start saying, what the hell's the point? Keep listening.
That we hang in there and not just give in to getting away from all restrictions.
Right. Getting rid of all. All right. So speaking of which, that's a great segue. Look at the state of Texas. Getting rid of restrictions, ending the mask mandate, and so on and so forth. We talked about this last week. Their cases over the past month are plummeting. They've been cut in half, as a matter of fact. And surprisingly, Fauci was asked about this from the Morning Joke. And guess what? You know what he said? When he was asked about Texas and how their cases could be plummeting without masks, without a mask mandate, he basically said, in so many words, gee, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Take a listen.
You mentioned Texas and that full ballpark in Arlington yesterday.
Yes,
there was a lot of concern last month when Texas effectively opened up, dropped all those restrictions and said it's back to life. And if you go to Texas, as you know, it looks like 2019. The restaurants and the bars are full and open. The ballparks are full. And yet we've seen cases and hospitalizations since then continue to tick downward. So what do you make of that as all of us look around and sort of try to consider how safe it is to get back to normal life?
Yeah, it can be confusing because you may see a lag and a delay because often you have to wait a few weeks before you.
All right, a few weeks. Well, how long do you want? It's been a month now since the mask mandate was lifted. Actually, it's been over a month, almost a month and a half since the mask mandate was lifted in Texas. Cases are going down. So you talk about a lag. All right, fine, maybe a couple weeks, but it's been a couple weeks. So what the hell are you talking about?
The effect of what you're doing right now. You know, there are a lot of things that go into that. I mean, when you say that they've had a lot of activity on the outside, like ball games, I'm not really quite sure. It could be they're doing things outdoors. You know, it's very difficult to just one-on-one compare that.
Or it could be that people are taking accountability. People are taking responsibility. People are realizing what they can and can't get away with. People might not be wearing masks, but they're still being responsible. That is, if you fear that you're more likely to get COVID, you play it safe. If you're not as at risk, you don't have to play it as safe. You don't need a mask mandate for that. You don't need a mask mandate for people to be smart with their decisions. I think that's what's going on. People are just being smart. It's as simple as that.
Have to see in the long range. I hope they continue to tick down.
I hope they continue to tick down. No, you don't. I'll say it right now. No, you do not. I think you hope that cases spike in Texas. Because if they continue to go down, Dr. Fauci, then you will have been proven wrong. You and your experts will have been proven wrong. We will have, we really do have it now. An example of a state that lifted a mask mandate, said no more masks, and cases are going down. That's what we have. And you, because of that, Dr. Fauci, honestly look like an idiot. You do. Because for months you've been, going on and on with this fear-mongering, saying that we got to keep it up, got to keep the masks on, got to keep staying 6 feet apart, or else things will get really bad. Well, guess what? Texas and Governor Greg Abbott, God bless him, just shattered that entire damn narrative. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Just completely shattered it. So no, honestly, I'm not kidding. I really do believe that you, Dr. Fauci, kind of hope that cases start creeping up again in Texas. Because if they don't, you're going to look like a clown. I think you already do. Don't go anywhere. Back in a minute. Conservatives. How many times have you been called a racist by someone on the left? What about sexist, bigoted, homophobic, xenophobic, right-wing radical extremist? These are all buzzwords that liberals use as a means of labeling conservatives as something that they're not. And let me tell you something. I, like most of you, am getting pretty damn sick of it. That's why I started my own conservative comedy series, Living with a Liberal. Hosted on the popular video sharing app TikTok, Living with a Liberal features two fictional characters, played by yours truly, whose political differences could not be more obvious. It's a comedic take on the modern-day liberal Democrat, because if they can brand us as racists and bigots, we can brand them as triggered, oversensitive snowflakes. Check out Living with a Liberal today on TikTok. Just search Jayson Veley and you'll be taken right to my homepage. I have over 100 episodes on there, so you won't be short on content anytime soon. Enjoy. Are you a pissed off liberal that wants to give me a piece of your mind? Or maybe you're a conservative that simply has a question or comment? Either way, you should know that there's a few different ways you can reach me. Feel free to send me an email at thejaysonveleyprogram@gmail.com. Or if you prefer, you can also call the show number and leave me a voicemail. 860-266-2852. Be sure to provide your name and where you're writing or calling from. Thanks a lot. I look forward to hearing from you.
Mike
and Crystal.
Hey Mike, have you heard of the Jimmy Z Show?
Yeah, Crystal. The Jimmy Z Show is awesome.
Which topic do you like most?
I like them all. They are all lots of fun. Do you have a favorite?
I just like Jimmy Z. His voice is so hot.
Okay, but what about his politics?
What politics?
The politics he talks about on the Jimmy Z Show.
I never noticed any politics. All I hear is the velvety smooth dulcet tone of Jimmy Z's sizzling, sexy, scintillating voice.
Holy mackerel.
The Jimmy Z Show.
The Jimmy Z Show is available on Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, and iTunes.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
All right, you ready for this one? Oh, get ready for this one. This one made my blood pressure shoot through the damn roof. FoxNews.com reporting. According to the CDC, there's now they have apparently now realized that there's a less than 1 in 10,000 chance of getting COVID from surfaces. Now, I'd like to take you back all the way to the beginning of this damn pandemic, to the spring of last year. The CDC, Fauci, Democrats had people terrified of a number of different things, but one of them was transferring COVID on surfaces. And as a result, you had people buying, antibacterial wipes and masks and hand sanitizer and wiping down surfaces and all the rest. Now, there's a less than 1 in 10,000 chance that you will get COVID after touching a surface. In other words, there's a less than 1 in 10,000 chance that COVID will be transferred via a surface, like a table or I don't know, what have you. Unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable. Fox News, there's less than a 1 in 10,000 chance of catching COVID-19 from surfaces, according to a Monday update from the CDC. The CDC has made clear that COVID-19 is a respiratory disease transmitted mainly through human-to-human interaction, but noted last spring that, quote, it may be possible that a person can get COVID-19 by touching a surface or object that has the virus on it and then touching their mouth, nose, or possibly their eyes. Well, apparently there's the chances of that happening are very, very small. Extremely small. And I bring this up. I bring this up because what we've seen over the past year is the CDC basically telling the people what to do, not based on scientific data or fact, but based on what they think to be true. What they think to be true. They said that, again, last spring, they said that it's possible for COVID, or for people to get COVID by touching a surface or object that the virus is on. They said that last spring, and people reacted accordingly. They were scared as hell. Hell, some people in my family were scared as hell. We didn't know what the hell was what was going on. You look at even the social distancing rules. It was 6 feet for the longest time, right? Now they've updated it to like 3 feet, I believe. Fauci has flip-flopped on whether or not masks are good or bad, or whether or not they're effective. And the problem, folks, is although the CDC and people like Fauci and these so-called experts really didn't know what the hell they were talking about, they were preaching to the American people as if they did. And the American people became terrified. The American people became terrified. For many Americans, their entire lives were uprooted. Talking about small business owners, and so on and so forth. People not being able to see their families. I mean, as a result of what the CDC has been telling us, people's lives have become miserable over the past year. Not everyone, but far too many of us. And if you, the CDC, are basing everything not on fact, but on what you think to be fact, that's a horrible thing. It makes me think that all of this is unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. We can't make rules. We can't decide how we live day to day, how we operate as a society, based on anything other than fact, based on conjecture. And yet that's what we've done for the past year, right? That's what we've done. I don't know. I am very troubled by this, as I've made very clear. I think that COVID-19 is... I think the response to COVID-19 has been more detrimental than COVID-19 itself. I really, truly believe that. You look at suicide, you look at depression, certain psychological issues going on, loneliness, isolation. It has a tremendous impact on the American people. It does. I think more of an impact, more of a severe, damaging impact than the virus itself. And Dr. Fauci has the nerve to go out there and say, just a little bit longer, everybody, just a little bit longer. And you know what? Something tells me that 3 months from now, 6 months from now, he'll be saying the same damn thing. Just a little bit longer. Come on, keep the masks up. Come on, keep on social distancing. Keep it up. Come on, just a little bit longer. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? No, but come on, keep going. The American people are going to say enough. I'm just warning you. All right, folks, thanks for listening. I'll be back tomorrow. God bless. And God save this great nation.